Let me first laugh because I just spent more than an hour talking, recording, and it was not viable. Yani hakukuwa na sound. All that time I was speaking, there was no sound. Like, huo mna survive aje? Like, una record kitu and then unapata haiongei. How do you do it again? Because me, even the sun has gone. Like, there was a lot of light when I began this. And now, oh my God, how do you do this? What? And this is, I even had an intro. I had the first one. I was now doing the second video. And God had mercy on me and he was like, child, first of all, you don't have enough space. Second, just listen to these things. And so I listened and there was just static on the whole video. And I'm here talking, all animated, you know. Now I understand what they say when they say, like, you know how people cry online. And so people say, like, so if you recorded yourself and then you find out that it was not recording, will you start crying again? Because there are some things I said, I don't know if I can even remember them now. So let me first check if this is on, because I'm definitely leaving this rant in there because kai hiyo kazi yote. This is how I know that I'm supposed to do it. So I'll stay here until I get a video. Yeah. Yani karibu tu nasikia kuchoka nikiimagine I'm doing this again. All for your glory, Papa, all for your glory. So, this is supposed to be my first video. And I really wanted to cover like 2 today. But because of the time and because of other prevailing circumstances, like, you know, me recording for more than an hour and nothing making a sound, because there was no voice, there was no sound in that video. So because of that, I'm just going to do the short version of what I had already done. But I'm praying that the Holy Spirit is going to lead me, and whatever he wants to be in that video is what's going to be in that video. And you know, my phone is also like aina charge. It's about to say goodnight. So, but I'm taking advantage of this lighting. So, and I'm taking advantage of the fact that I've already started. Do you know how sometimes it's so hard to, like, when you've already gotten momentum, you don't want to stop. So that's where I am with this. So, the first video that I want to do on here, I think you've already read the title. It's my first mountain. And so let me just explain that. I call it a mountain because it's the first thing I felt like I had to conquer, and I saw the hand of God helping me to conquer it. So, and there's this story of David. Before he came and fought Goliath, he had, I remember him showing up and, Saul asking him, like, bro, are you sure? And then he's like, he was like, your servant killed lions and bears. So this Philistine, the hand of the Lord will be upon me, and God will deliver this Philistine into my hand. Something like that, nasema vitu zangu, but that's the long short of it. But I've always used David as I'd say like a landmark story in the Bible. He's like a model for the way my life has been unfolding. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this series, because I cannot start glorifying God and telling people about the things God has done lately without telling people what he did in the past. I just want you to see the journey, because there has been a journey. And also, now that I'm getting into a new age, I feel like I've been taking stock of my young adult years, and I was seeing how God has been just leading me step by step. Even the things that you thought that they did not make sense. Who is like the Lord? Who is like our God? Like, God is so good. God is so good. And so I just want to tell of his wonderful acts. So my story is, my first mountain is, KCSE. And the reason why this one matters, there are things that God did in the past before that. But the reason why this one is the big one, and this one is what I want to call the bear. In like David's story, he had killed lions and bears. So my next one will be the lion, and then I'll show you Goliath, Ukombele. But this one is definitely, this one is definitely a bear. This one is definitely, it was a big one. And so, as I said in my former video, which you'll never see because there was no sound, I've always been like an average performer in school. But when it came to Form 3, I don't know what happened. I was calling it, darkness, but darkness entered my life. And you would say like, kids go through a lot, especially in their teenage years. Some are being influenced, some are, trying to figure themselves out, some have identity issues, some are dealing with bad company. There are so many things that teenagers deal with. But it was not bad company. It was not identity crisis. My life was actually okay. Me, I don't know what was going on. And that's why I'm telling you, it is darkness. And it is not darkness in form of ignorance. It is darkness in form of, like, you see how when the world was created, that creation story, there was darkness. And like nothing was happening because there was darkness. Nothing was happening. That's exactly what was happening at the time. Nothing was happening. It was just kulikuwa tu hivyo. And I feel like I have been attacked with this yet again in my life, but that's the first time I can say it really happened to me. It's when I was in Form 3. And I remember it continued mpaka ikafika nilikuwa Form 4 after mocks. So I got to a place, I think the mocks were in like June, July hapo. And then we had the August holiday, and then, I think our exams were in October. So even in September, I'm just telling you, like, may I tell you, this was a miracle. I truly saw the hand of God, because even my mom was not like, she was worried, but she was not freaking out. And parents, I'd like to tell you, like, whenever you see your child is not performing, or you feel like they're getting wayward, or things are just happening that you don't understand about your child, there is always spiritual warfare. Of course, there are structures and there are environments and spaces that you can put to help your child. But if you do not cover them in prayer, if you do not intercede and intercept whatever is coming toward them, I promise you, because some people are lectured, some people are taken to all these things, but whatever you're fighting may not be something physical. And so at the time, I remember even my mom asking me, like, yo, inaendelea. She never scolded me, she never beat me. She just asked me what's going on. And I didn't know what was going on, so I couldn't tell her what was going on. But then I remember also, like, she used to ask me, and this is why I called her my Moses. My mom was my Moses, and there's this story of Moses where the Israelites are fighting, they're in battle, and Moses was lifting his hands. And whenever he lifted his hands, the Israelites would advance, and they would, they would advance against their enemies in war. But when he got tired and put down his hands, the Israelites started getting defeated. So there were two people. I think one of them was Aaron. I think the other one was Joshua. I'm not sure. Or Joshua was the one in battle. I do not really recall. I should really read my Bible. I should read my Bible. So while they were fighting, these two guys held his hands up and they sat him down on a stone because he was tired. He was an old man. He was tired. Even if you are a young man, those times, kama ni battle, even these days, I don't know what it's like in like Israel and what's happening in Ukraine right now, but these things, when they are taking over like a territory or when you are in war, it does not take a few hours. You think that you are clocking in and then you're clocking out, it's going to take time. So it's a long time. So even if he was old, I don't think age had anything to do with it, but of course it was a contributing factor. So he got tired, and so they put a stone or a rock underneath him. He sat down, and then they lifted his hands. They were the one lifting his hands, one holding one hand, one holding one hand. And so the Israelites advanced against their enemies. And so I've always taken that to be what was happening with me, because my mom took note of all, like, the exam schedule. She had, like, she knew exactly what I was doing. If I had Kiswahili at this time, she knew. If I had math at this time, she knew. If I had what at this time, she always knew. And at the time we couldn't communicate. So she had that, and she continued doing this even when I was in campus. So I would say, like, my victory is not mine alone. I had somebody. And this is why I keep saying, like, parents, it's not just taking that kid to school. There is so much work. It's not just paying the school fees and leaving them to their own devices. There is so much that you should, and I'm speaking from the point of a child who received help from a parent. So I'm not advising parents because I'm not a parent. I'm advising or I'm giving my own account from my own experience. And so, like, she was so, like, she used to pray for me, and I knew that. And so, like, we did the exams, and these are some of the factors that showed me that this was God, because our exams used to end at 2. I think they'd start at 8. We'd have the first, I think, 3 hours up to from 8:30, or is it 8 to 11, and then we'd go to 11 to 2, or is it 1:30? I'm not sure. But by 2, there were no papers going on. So me used to sleep. Na sio kupenda. Like, that's one of the things that I've always known, like, kitu ikinishinda, like, mentally, endaga tunalala. Hata si mentally too, I think even emotionally. But sleep is such, like, a good antidote to everything. But what I'm trying to say is that I used to be so mentally exhausted nikitoka hizo exams. I just used to go and sleep. While other people were doing discussions, me was sleeping. And I used to sleep at kitu like 4:30 ama 5. Because our supper time was at 5:30. And then prep ilikuwa inaanza 6:20. So you had some time hapo hivyo. But I used to study at night. I just used to study at night. So I can't attribute it to what I was working so hard. Plus, I was failing. I told you I was failing. I just see the hand of God. So we finished the exams. We finished in November. And then now 2012, the exams come out. And of course, me, I was, I can say I was happy, but there were other factors that were making me not to be in a celebratory mood. Because, and this is why I'm even doing these videos.